It is time to rethink money. So, yeah, I have few interesting, examples to tell you of what money really was back in those days, and now what money has really become. How they used to say money is, health is wealth, and it was so true because people back in those days they knew how to put money into health, how to, so that you are working at your highest level of intelligence. They knew how to put it to use, right? But as back in those days we used to eat in golden vessels, in golden utensils, we use silver utensils, and they were so good, for, like, that's how rich we were. That's how rich we were, that's how abundant we felt, that's how abundant we were in our energies, back in those days, as a collective, as a collective. I'm talking, yeah, majorly around Bharat, but Bharat was also never boundaryless. I mean, yeah, Bharat did not always have boundaries. you know Bharat was way bigger, and of course you can find all these uh, you know if you want historical proofs, you can find it in Chanakya and Ashoka's story, how they wanted to build a, what was that name that they specifically gave, I just forgot that. So yeah, what I just meant to say is that health was, there's no concept like wealth that existed, because it was more about wealth, living abundantly, you know the as collective humanity, like, we were so abundant in our energies, but now we've become so ego driven, we've forgotten surrender, that now we just try to save money, you know hoard money, we keep it in our lockers, gold and silver, we don't wear it because of course, um there's a fear of stealing, you know and yeah, we used to use our wealth and convert it into health, and now we've become so closed with our energies, we don't know how to put it into use, you know one is, एक होता है कि लोग बुरी नीयत से पैसा कमाते हैं और कुछ अच्छी नीयत से पैसा कमाते हैं, और एक चीज होती है कि आप जब स्पेंड कर रहे हो, तो आप, जितना आपका लेवल ऑफ दिमाग होगा, आप उतना, एंड ऑफ कोर्स योर लेवल ऑफ दिमाग कम्स फ्रॉम योर लेवल ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस, आपको जितना लेवल ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस होगा उतना आपका लेवल ऑफ दिमाग होगा. सो या, आई मीन, we've we've fallen down, we've devolved over times, and this is what you call modernity, this is what you call civilization. What do you call modernity and civilization? The roads that we build? I mean, what if okay, our yogis, they sat in one place and they saw the planets with their eyes closed. Imagine, they knew the distances between, earth and moon and sun, and yeah, they just knew the differences, they knew the distances, they knew, they knew almost everything, you know we were so strong telepathically, you know did we really need roads? I mean, we made so much development on a physical plane, and that too non-sustainably, that too unsustainably, that too in such an not eco-friendly way, and that is what you call development? Maybe we could have risen and evolved spiritually, that we never needed roads. Maybe we could teleport, maybe, we could collectively gain into powers that we could teleport, or we could you know and there is a thing like telepathy, like we can communicate on telepathy. Maybe we didn't never need this AI chat GPT. And what is this AI chat GPT? This is what you call modernity? I mean, they destroyed our culture, they destroyed it completely over time. And of course, we are also to be blamed. It's not all theirs, you know. We destroyed our culture, we destroyed everything. And now we have to rely on Google, AI, and ChatGPT to know our answers. And that too, it doesn't know it itself, you know. I've seen some a few interesting Instagram pages, that were telling about how there's a loophole in AI, there's a loophole in ChatGPT. And I've used it like 2, 3 years ago. I was doing a project and I try to use it to, like describe the poem, or, to give me the meaning of the poem, and it couldn't. Like, it gave me wrong information, and my human mind could like decipher it much better, you know. So, yeah, they they snatched away our culture, you know. For example, I was trying to search for, um, okay, forget it. But yeah, they just snatched away our culture, the passed down, the information and culture, that just got gotten away, and now we just left with relied on chat GPT and AI. And do you see their advertisements? If you really look closely on chat GPT and AI advertisements, I found them, how they're trying us to, rely on it. They're really subconsciously trying to tell us that you can rely on it. It has all the answers, all the solutions. You need a recipe, it will give you. But back in those days, we knew that we should not eat cucumber with curd. Ayurveda always gave that information, right? That culture got away, the Ayurveda got away, pharmaceuticals came in. They burned the witches, who knew the masters of healing medicine. They knew it. Pharmaceuticals came in, and now they want to bring chat GPT AI, like it has got all the solutions. And chat GPT AI um is very subjective. It tells you what he wants to hear. Okay. And I've seen some few interesting pages, trying to tell that. And I have also used, chat GPT, and it just, it was giving me a wrong interpretation of a poem. Like, my human mind could just see it, and I was like, what use is this stupid chat box? You know, people are marrying robots, and now there's a Hollywood movie, also a Shahid Kapoor movie, trying to tell you that you can marry a robot and you will never have a relationship problem. She will do exactly as you want. They're really trying to subconsciously try to tell us that you need robots more than humans. you know they want to target the family. They want to target the family system, because love is something, that protects each one of us. Family, that's the closest part. And th- we are intimately connected, and we protect each other, right? So they know that they have to kind of target that. Yeah, so they know that they have to target that. And once you target that, people started keeping cats and dogs in their houses. They became so lonely and depressed. And now, maybe those still some alive cats and dogs, they want to replace it with chat GPT or robots. And I have seen a few examples. Like, years ago, I've seen this man, he married a robot, and he'll, of course, never have a relationship problem. He'll never be challenged in life, and hence his brain will be reduced to more and more, degrees. Forget the level of consciousness. His brain is going to be reduced. He'll never be able to be in a place where he can make a choice, because he's gotten so numb and slept. I mean, he's so slept. He's sleeping with eyes open. We have collectively devolved, you know, and maybe now as human societies, we know how to hoard money, but we still don't know how to put money to use, We still don't know how to live like kings and queens. We don't still don't know how to live peacefully. And you some I really think you don't require a large amount of money. I think what you require is brains. If brains is with you, you can always, know how to earn money, right? Imagine having a lot of money in the locker and not having brains. You will never know how to spend it. You will never know how to invest it. You will never know how to earn it back. It will just never challenge you. You know. Somebody had asked my guru, um, what do you think, like some souls, which are with higher consciousness, they if they get rebirth into richer homes. They might get rebirth reincarnated into homes which are rich, because they have higher level of consciousness and everything. And so the other souls, who are not that high level in consciousness, they might get birth in, uh, lower or in poverty situations, something like this. So you're so पागल है तू with दिमाग है तेरे में. There are people who choose, you know there are souls, the high level souls, they choose challenging situations. They choose sometimes those challenging situations. And 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 I remember my guru, used to tell a story, used to tell a poem, that there is this one saint, one sage. I think that was a lady sage. I think if any lady sage is there, must be a witch. You know, there's nothing like a lady sage. I think that it's just a witch, and male sages. Yeah, whatever. So, yeah, for any woman who is very spiritual, I feel like I want to use the word witch with them. Yeah. So, she was sitting with a begging bowl and in torn clothes and everything, and now she's singing. She's singing a poem. She says that, Shiva, if food gets into my bowl, before food gets into my bowl, may my vessel break. Something like this. Even if by some chance it gets into my bowl, some food, then even when I'm trying to put it in my mouth, some squirrel or some bird takes it away. Something like that. Like there's a story like she is asking for a constant tragedy. This woman is asking for a constant tragedy. So it's time that we need to rethink money on a serious note. I am not saying that earning is bad, or having a lot of money is bad. Not at all. But I think there is some spiritual, all these spiritual something trying to manifest money. That's such a, I mean, of course, I mean, there's nothing wrong with manifesting money, but there's so much more to life, and you miss it. you know yeah, ultimately money is something, a set standard that we all set, so that we can make our life easier. We can bring the wealth into health. We can increase our brain levels. We can increase our, energy systems. We can keep our body safe, clean, disease free. I guess Peacock is agreeing with us, and crows too. There's one more example I wanted to share, but I'm forgetting it now. What was I trying to tell? It's another example I was trying to tell. I think I forgot it. Never mind. I mean, I just want to say that we become so poor, so poor, so poor that, and we've gotten so much into unsurrendered states. We have gone so much away from our souls that we fear our futures more. And that too, somehow we tend to believe that our future is going to be negative only. That we have forgotten to live our present in a surrendered state.